evening and welcome to Newsline this beautiful Sunday. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurrazak, your captain tonight. And we're inviting you all to pause, reflect and recharge as we embrace a week of fresh possibilities. Now, from the Senate chambers to the presidential villa, Senator Oluremi Tinubu continues to carve out a legacy of firsts. With her passion for gardening, tonight we'll give you a glimpse into her garden. We'll also explore the mystery of the treasure trove hidden in a lady's handbag, often called an Aladdin's cave. All right, and now women are defying stereotypes, excelling in fields once dominated by the men. So tonight, we'll show you why hiring a female painter is a smart choice. Plus, a potpourri of inspiring stories on the line tonight. All right, let me pause a little while and allow Elizabeth Omorui to give us the trending news highlights. Lizzie, good evening.
Good evening, Claire. Thank you so much for joining us on the news. Vice President Kashim Shatima will lead Nigeria's delegation to the 2024 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting as directed by President Bola Tinubu. Vice President Kashim Shatima will join King Charles of England and other world leaders from 56 member countries at the meeting scheduled for October 21 to 26 at the Pacific small island of Apia, Samoa. They're expected to deliberate on the theme, One Resilient Common Future, Transforming Our Commonwealth, focusing attention on how member countries can harness their strength through resilience and unlocking potential. At the meeting, Nigeria and other member countries will also elect and appoint the next Commonwealth Secretary General. In line with the agreed memorandum on the establishment and functions of the Commonwealth Secretariat and the principle of regional rotation, the next Commonwealth Secretary General will come from Africa. Nigeria is set to address the global challenge in antimicrobial resistance as the federal government, through the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, launches National Action Plan 2 for antimicrobial resistance and genomics surveillance strategy in Abuja. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, said the action plan is part of fulfilling Nigeria's commitment at the last United Nations General Assembly in New York. Oluseyi Adiagbo has details.
Antimicrobial resistance, AMR, is a critical global health threat projected to cause 10 million deaths annually by 2050, with Nigeria already facing over 64,000 deaths since 2019. The launch of these two health strategies, the National Action Plan 2.0 for antimicrobial resistance and the National Genomic Surveillance Strategy, established the Nigerian government's commitment to tackle AMR in the next 5 years.
We are committed to integrating genomic technologies into all aspects of our work, and the plan that has been laid out focuses on building our capacity for not only detection and surveillance, improving our response to emerging infections.
Of the 177 countries that have currently developed the NAPs on AMR, only 11% have made provision for funding the development of their plan. We are happy that Nigeria is among them.
AMR is predicted to be the next global pandemic, and this meeting reviews a strengthened coordination of the task to ensure the prevention of the damage of AMR to humans, animals, and even agriculture. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Talking security, efforts have been intensified by the police to curb criminality to the barest in Akwa Ibom State. Already, there are successes recorded, and the latest is the arrest and parade of 12 suspects for various crimes, including murder and cultism, by the command. Umo Basi Edet reports.
Parading the 12 suspects, the Akwa Ibom State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Joseph Eribo, says they were arrested for various crimes ranging from murder, cultism to armed robbery and stealing.
Police of the command were on patrol along Calabar Itu road saw 4 men on one bike. The team immediately swung into action, pursued them, and arrested 2. The arrested suspect confessed and led the command operative to their armed supplier, who was arrested, and the following items were recovered from him: 2 locally made long guns, 2 live cartridges, 12 refilled cartridges, 4 empty shells to be refilled, 1 sack containing gunpowder, 1 container of carbide.
The police commissioner says the command has declared red alert on crime and urges residents to give necessary information to help the police tackle same. The suspects are to be charged to court while investigations are ongoing to arrest those still at large. In Uyo, Umar Basedate, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Navy has highlighted border incentives for maritime security cooperation at the just concluded 5th Sea Power for Africa Symposium in Cape Town, South Africa. The Chief of the Naval Staff, in his address, underscored the potential to generate more than $405 billion by 2030, including $100 million by coastal tourism, with the capacity to create more than 57 million jobs across the continent. The naval chief also noted that Africa's maritime future is guided by the African Integrated Maritime Strategy, which seeks to foster wealth creation by developing an ocean economy within a secured maritime domain. Nigeria's participation drives the vision supported by the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, projected to increase intra-African freight by 28% and demand for maritime transport by 62%. To drug interception, 2 businessmen and a Canada-based nurse have been arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, for attempting to import different types of illicit drugs. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim brings us details.
One of the suspects, who frequents Thailand from where he claims to be importing fish into Nigeria, was arrested while attempting to board a flight to Thailand. When he was taken for body scan, the result showed he ingested illicit drug, which proved to be cocaine. As a result, he was placed under excretion observation, during which he expelled 5 egg-size wraps of cocaine weighing 400 grams. In the same vein, a 26-year-old businessman also excreted a pellet of cocaine weighing 22 grams. The suspect revealed that he was to be paid 2.5 million naira for trafficking the drug. Meanwhile, a Nigerian-Canadian nurse was on 4th October arrested by NDLEA officers at the Lagos airport during a search of her luggage, a total of 70 parcels of Canadian loud weighing 35.70 kilograms. During her interview, she claimed she was in Nigeria to meet her boyfriend, who instructed her to come with the consignment. Meanwhile, a total of 162,351 bottles of codeine-based syrup were intercepted from 2 containers at the Apapa Seaport on Tuesday, 15th October at Port Harcourt Complex, One, Rivers State on Tuesday, 15th October. Different strain and quantities of illicit drugs were intercepted in different parts of the country during the week under review. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now to flood mitigation. Kogi State Government says creation of dams in the confluence states of Kogi, Niger and Benue states, as well as dredging of the rivers, can permanently put to rest the perennial flooding being experienced every year. The state governor made the appeal to the federal government when he received the search and rescue team of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, led by its Director General. Yakubu reports.
Kogi State has been on the news following devastating flooding year in, year on, with high level of displacement of people and destruction of property worth billions of naira. Available records from the State Emergency Management Agency indicates that out of the 21 local government areas of the state, 9 are seriously affected, with 420 communities sacked and about 2 million people displaced. The state governor said the situation has overwhelmed the capacity of the state.
If a dam can be constructed to at least reduce the influx of this water from Benue and the River Niger, I think it will help us to some extent.
The DG NEMA, who was also represented, said the agency has deployed its search and rescue officers alongside other resources to mitigate the hazards of the flood. The NEMA team inspected some of the affected areas within Lokoja Metropolis for an on-the-spot assessment of the situation. Yakubu, NTA News.
To other news, Itel, a mobile phone and home appliances brand, is putting smiles on the faces of its customers with its latest shopping experience, the first of its kind pop-up store in Nigeria and West Africa. The idea is to give customers a memorable shopping experience. Diana Ajale, who experienced the activation of the first store at Ikeja Mall in Lagos, tells us more.
The pop-up store is an open walk-by shop that also provides family fun time for Itel brand customers.
The experience is amazing. I love all their products and I get the air fryer for myself.
We got towels and some other gifts. Honestly, it's actually fantastic.
And I'm really happy that I got a gift and then, yeah, thank you, Itel.
Itel products, ranging from mobile devices to home appliances, are on display for purchase. The brand's latest baby in the mobile phone category, the P65 smartphone, was introduced at the store. Joyce Ogbonaya, who was walking by, became a winner for being the first to purchase the P65 smartphone. She also got an extra gift with many other freebies.
I appreciate it. It's very nice. At least he said a person that can afford it, it's okay, you buy it.
Free haircut is one of the attractions at the store.
Not quite long, I just cut my hair before I discovered that something like this is going on here.
The plan said that next month now I go barb my hair. But luckily for me, Itel came too. I love Itel products. Their products are authentic.
Itel marketing executives say the idea is to bring a unique experience to its customers.
The best way to promote our product is to give our fans, our customers, the direct access for them to experience the power, the battery of the Itel P65. It also comes an extra charging case. That means that even though your phone is low, with the charging case, your battery is still on.
We are a brand that can promise you that we see your needs, we understand your needs, and we will help you meet those needs without putting a hole in your pocket.
The store, which is expected to open for 2 days, will also be extended to customers in Port Harcourt and Uyo in the nearest weeks. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Let's talk education. Prioritizing investment in a girl child will improve education outcomes and enhance economic growth. Gender advocates emphasized this during a self-actualization session with students of Government Girls Secondary School, Dutse.
Prioritizing the rights of the girl child is crucial to achieving gender equity and empowering future generations. These are some of the reasons gender advocates and state actors are advancing the empowerment of the girl child to unlock her potentials. The likes of Favor and Ifunaya are already changing the narratives surrounding the development of their gender in order to achieve their goals.
Silence protects the abusers and not the ones being abused.
What a man can do, a woman can do better, and I believe in that.
Olajumoke is one of the gender advocates championing the advancement of the girl child. She says addressing systemic biases and ensuring access to quality education will create a brighter path for the girl child to thrive.
Where there are mentors that can help these children speak up against sexual and gender-based violence. When they know that there is someone they can look up to, a teacher who's going to stand for them, they're not going to cover up.
It's about building esteem through principles that bring courage to the mindset.
Students with catchy lines on ending GBV were awarded scholarships and others made gender reference ambassadors. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
As part of efforts to raise public awareness about the opportunities and challenges of the aging population, Kashim has celebrated a day with some aged groups in Abuja. Deborah Balagbobo reports that this year's celebration has as its theme Aging with Dignity, the importance of strengthening care and support systems for older persons worldwide.
It was a feeling of nostalgia for these elderly persons as they could not hide their joy while relaxing under the foot of Zuma Rock to unwind. These are older persons from Mabushi and Area 1 IDP camps. They are gathered here to mark the International Day of Older Persons.
When we come to him, when we come where you call us, he normally puts a small smile in our face.
President Cruz Rupin, Senator Eze Ajoku says the exercise, which is part of activities lined up to mark the day, is aimed at giving the older persons a feel of exquisite sights to feel relaxed from their usual lifestyle.
We have been able to cope on our own for all the activities we organize for older persons. As you recall, by June, we had carried out a hangout in 27 states, including FCT.
We moved in here into this resort with elderly people who are normally local people, not the elite, the civil servants. The joy was written all over their faces.
Rupin, a non-governmental organization, has been saddled with the care and management of older persons, thereby drawing government attention to their rights as citizens. In Abuja, Deborah Balagbobo, NTA News.
Away from geriatrics, activities marking the 90th birthday celebration of the former head of state, General Yakubu Goan, have climaxed with a banquet in his honor at the State House. Kelvin Elnwai brings us details.
90 look good on him. An elated General Yakubu Goan acknowledging cheers from family members and associates. A gift to the nation, as President Bola Tinubu described him in a message delivered by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and echoed by former President Olusegun Obasanjo.
General Yakubu, you are a remarkable figure in Nigeria's history and a testament to resilience, humility, and visionary leadership.
My prayer is that you will celebrate 100. And sir, I will be there.
Earlier at the Thanksgiving to honor the celebrant at the National Christian Center, the primate of the Church of Nigeria, Anglican Communion, challenged Nigerians to rededicate themselves to the goals of nation building, anchored on peaceful coexistence that General Yakubu Goan has strived for all his life.
I must admit, what I have done or what I have achieved cannot be achieved by, it is not my own doing alone, but it is the support of all the people of this country.
In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
At the special Thanksgiving service to honor the former head of state, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says his unwavering devotion to Nigeria offers hope on the future of the nation. State House correspondent Adeni Itel reports.
At 32, General Yakubu Goan came into national and international reckoning as Nigeria's head of state. Today at 90, strong, healthy and impactful, he is in God's presence, joined by former and serving leaders to offer thanks. It was a day to recall the virtues General Goan stood for, and Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu highlight his simplicity and patriotism.
Looking back
I realize that your life is a life destined by God, who called you to be an exemplary leader of good in this world of cynicism and despair. Your life of simplicity, humility, grace, dignity, and patriotism to our nation gives us hope that Nigeria is all we have, and we have to do everything in our power to make it work. Your love for country is infectious.
Thanking the celebrant on behalf of the President and the nation, the First Lady notes that his special touch on leadership offers a lot of lessons.
The greatest commandment is loving God, loving our neighbors, and all as we love ourselves. That on these two commandments hang the laws and the prophets. You have both loved this nation, the people, and taught us all how to be contented, humble, reliable, gracious, available, and show love to all. We are grateful.
Basking in the celebration, General Yakubu Goan urged Nigerians to continue to pray for the country.
We kept Nigeria together, and all Nigerians assisted me, all Nigerians from all parts of the country assisted me to keep Nigeria one, and we did it.
From the National Christian Center, Itel, NTA News.
The honor in charge, the 10th and Igbere Emiri Okori King Apollo Chu took a journey of thousands of miles crossing rivers and streams from Eleme in Rivers State to lend a shoulder to his close associate, the former Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, whose son passed on recently and laid to rest in Shandam, Plateau State. Caleb Gochin tells us more.
Pain that comes with the death of a loved one, especially that of a young and only son, and a young husband, can only be imagined, especially to a mother and her daughter-in-law. This is what the Talent family is going through, hence the convergence of sympathizers from all walks of life on Shandam in Plateau State. As the officiating minister's charge on living a godly life permeates the airwaves, King Apollo Chu, just like the rest here, could not but reflect on the life, words of death, the life after, and legacy of the tripartite being called man.
We need to rally around them, to console them, to stand. We need to also give them all the kind of support they want now, because it is not easy to lose a loved one. Talk literally, it's my sister. I lost my own wife about on April, for a few months ago. She was with me. I know what she's going through now, because I am seeing in this situation.
Apollo Chu, who came all the way from Rivers to condole her. I'm not surprised. But honestly, we appreciate all those who, by the grace of God, have reached Shandam, some visiting Shandam for the first time.
The family then mourns as it has lost a dear son who went through the challenges in life but left positive impacts that cannot be forgotten.
He was one of the people the Germans trained to take care of my CP-tronic machines in the press. And every time we had a problem, I will call Adamu. Adamu will tell us what to do and we'll fix it.
The late Richard Adamu Talin, 42, left behind his wife, 3 children and a mother, Dame Pauline Talin, former Minister of Women Affairs. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
A bit from the foreign scene, barely 2 weeks to the U.S. 2024 presidential election. Early voting in Detroit. Details of this and more with Kolo Mohammed on Global Updates.
Kamala Harris addressed the press after a rally in Detroit, telling reporters that her opponent, Donald Trump, is becoming increasingly unstable and unhinged. The American people, she urged, deserve better, not someone who actually seems to be unstable. Former President Barack Obama urges Americans to go out and vote as he campaigns in favor of Kamala Harris in Las Vegas. Donald Trump At closing rallies, urged Americans to see a further Biden in Kamala, and if she should become president, Joe Biden remains the leader. Meanwhile, Moldovans began voting Sunday in a presidential election and referendum on joining the European Union, with fears of Russia interfering in the two key electoral tests amid the war in neighboring Ukraine. At a polling point in the capital Chisinau, the first people to cast their ballots were forced to do it in the dark due to blackout. Moldova's authorities fear that up to a quarter of the votes could be compromised by Russia in the presidential election and referendum on EU membership. In other news, President Putin says the BRICS group will generate most of global economic growth in the nearest future due to its size and relatively fast growth. He was speaking at the business forum, which comes ahead of the BRICS summit to take place in the Russian city of Kazan from 22nd to 24th October. Kolo Muhammad, NTA.
It's time to talk sports, and Bade Adeleye will be our guide. Bade.
All right, let's now return to Elizabeth and, of course, the sports-loving Claire. Both of them, they love talking sports. Let's return to you.
Thank you so much for the updates. But let me ask you, we hear that the search for the best African footballer of the year is on. So who's clinching the prize this time around?
Well, it's good to know that two Nigerians are in the running, talking about Victor Boniface and Ademola Lookman. And it does look like it's going to be Ademola Lookman's year.
We're keeping our fingers crossed.
All right. Well, Ademola has been very fantastic, this season, really. And Boniface, too, I remember now. I know, Bade, you talked about his accident earlier on, and I thought, okay. I remember, Victor plays for Bayern Leverkusen, if I'm right. And I think that he's also equally good. But I'm not really happy this evening. My team is losing, and I'm sure you know why.
Okay, Claire, I think I know why. Now let's take a quick look at the weather outlook for tomorrow, Monday.
And thank you for joining us on the weather forecast for Monday. We start off the week with very good prospects of morning thunderstorms to parts of Taraba, Adamawa, the north central, as well as parts of Ebonyi, Enugu, Abia, Ogun, Ondo, Lagos State, and the coastal parts of the country. By afternoon and evening hours, widespread thunderstorms are expected to the southern region of the country, including parts of Plateau, Nasarawa, Benue, the Federal Capital Territory, the southern parts of Bauchi, Kaduna, Taraba, and Kebbi states, leaving the extreme northern states in partly cloudy skies. That's our bit from here. I am Theodora Itzum. Thank you for watching.
Now you know if you will be needing an umbrella tomorrow. And that's the news segment. Claire will be back with more stories. Just stay with the NTA.